Good evening, parents and students and families joining us today for the virtual college exploration for all Ohio students. I just have a few housekeeping notes for you all as we get started this evening. If you have any questions for Jimmy, please feel free to ask those in the Q&A box. We cannot see you or hear you, so you will have to use that Q&A box for all of your questions. If you have interest in joining any additional sessions, you can check out the schedule at www.oacac.org. And also, just so you all know, this presentation will also be recorded and will be available at www.oacac.org for you to view at a later date. So I will go ahead and turn it over to Jimmy, and he will share some information about his college with you, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. My name is Jimmy Barnett. I'm the Director of Recruitment and Admissions at Southern State Community College. You know, this is the world we live in today, this virtual world. It's not as personable as being at a college fair or an event, talking to students and their family about their decision to go to college. It is a big decision. It's not one that, you know, I imagine folks don't really want to learn about college virtually, but, you know, it's just great that we have this option. So I really appreciate OACAC, you know, working with StriveScan to get something like this available to us. So I'm going to start with how I would any student that walks up to my table or my booth at a college fair. I always like to ask students, you know, do you want to stay close to home? Do you want to move away? And, you know, I get mixed responses. A lot of students want to move away from their hometown, and that's not uncommon. I too was one of those students, but I really wish I would have thought about things. And you know, I typically share a little bit about myself with students, and I will with you all tonight as well. You know, I'm from a small town. I wanted to move away and get out, and I chose to. I went away to college. I got my bachelor's degree, and you know, I was unable to find a job. Southern State is actually where my father works. So if I would have chose to go to Southern State for 2 years, since it's only about 25 minutes from my hometown, it would have been a free education for 2 years and would have saved me a lot of money in student loan debt. Would have gave me some more time to think about what I wanted to do, so on and so on. But without making the decisions I made, I probably wouldn't be where I am today talking to you guys. So that's where I really want to share with you, you know, I think community college, and you'll hear me say this over and over, it's a great way to really think about what you want to do a little longer. And I'll get into that a little bit further into this presentation. But that kind of, you know, is a stepping stone into my next question, which is how many students, you know, I always ask students when they walk up, you know, how many students do you really think drop out of college after their freshman year? And these are students that go away and off to college. And the answer to that is 30%. 3 out of 10 students drop out. And there's a bunch of reasons behind that. It could be financially, academically, you know, homesick. There's a bunch of reasons. But those are the kind of students we see at Southern State. Not the only kind of student, but we see those students that decide to go off to a 4-year institution and come back. And I'm not, trust me, I went off to a 4-year institution. They have their perks and they're great institutions. You know, I'm not here to talk down about 4 years. I'm just here to promote what community college can do, and that's give you more time to think about what you want, save you money, and still get that quality and affordable education locally. So that takes us into this next slide. Tech schools, community colleges, colleges, and universities. I think it's really important that you know the difference between all of those, because when you're making a decision, you know, when students walk up to me and you know, they may not know it. So they'll say, you know, what kind of bachelor's degrees do you offer? Well, Southern State's a community college. We don't offer bachelor's degree. So I like to explain the difference between the schools. And, you know, a tech school, you're going to learn trades, plumbing, electrician, cosmetology. You know, you're going to get out into the workforce a little quicker. Community colleges like Southern State Community College, you know, you're going to get a 1-year certificate or a 2-year associate's degrees. And then your colleges generally offer associate's and bachelor degrees. And then your universities, they typically offer bachelor's, master's, and on. So obviously, the further down that list that you go, the higher the cost. So it's just something to think about, knowing those differences. So I hope right now you're at that crossroads. I hope you're thinking, where do I want to go? Do I want to go to a 2-year? Do I want to go to a 4-year? Or do I want to take a year off and go straight into the workforce? My job as a higher ed professional is not to talk you one way or the other. And I didn't sign up to talk people into things. I signed up to really provide information and provide a good choice. And that's what I try to do at Southern State. And that leads me into this next slide. Community college is worth it. Your wallet doesn't have to be as empty. So on average, students that attend Southern State Community College save this much in tuition and fees per academic year. So compared to a 4-year in-state public, it's about $6,500. Compared to a 4-year out-of-state public, it's about $22,000. And compared to a 4-year private, it's about $32,000. So that's a lot of money. When you really think about the big scheme of things, that's not including room and board. At Southern State, we don't have dorms. We don't have a meal plan. You don't pay those things with us. You stay at home with your mom and dad, or you get an apartment and you work while you go to college. Not that you couldn't do that at another school, but you understand what I'm saying, I'm sure. So, you add on room and board, it's a lot of money. So that's just something to think about. You have more time to think about what you want to do. Generally, no matter where you go to college, the majority of your classes you take those first 2 years of college, your freshman and sophomore year, are going to be spent fulfilling gen eds. So when I say gen eds, I mean math, I mean science, English, social sciences. You're going to take those classes wherever you go to college to some extent with some electives. Why not do that at a community college where you can save money as you go? And honestly, you can think about what you want to do. Sure, we may have your degree that you can get in the 2-year form and then transfer that on. But if we don't, you can get a 2-year Associate of Arts or Science degree and get all those gen eds out of the way. Some more perks, you can pay as you go. We have students that get on a bill plan and they pay as they go. And those advantages can extend into future plans. We've had students that are able to buy cars, buy houses, put down payments on things, save that money, and they're able to get those kind of items at 20 years old. That's a goal for a lot of our students. Staying home isn't always a bad thing. I always laugh about this one because I was the first one that wanted out of my parents' house. I would be the first in line to get out. But residence hall life, it's expensive. Dorms, you got fees that you may not pay for, such as activity fees, meal plans, laundry. You may not utilize all those items. I will say residence hall life and dorm life can be fun, and it is fun a lot of times. But it also, like anything in life, it has its downside. The meal plan's not always as great at some schools. The activities aren't as fun. Maybe you're not involved in as many activities, and it can be expensive, living on a campus. And with COVID, that's something to think about is, are you paying for an experience and academics, or, because if you are, right now you might just be getting the academics, which is the major piece of it. But, a lot of us go off to college for the experience as well. And, if you stay local community at Southern State for those first 2 years, you can save that money where COVID's kind of taken the experience away from a lot of institutions, which is unfortunate. So you have time to think about what you want. And this is what I said to begin. If I would have spent my first 2 years, at a community college, I probably wouldn't have chose sports management. That's what my bachelor's degree is in. And it's not because I don't love the degree and I didn't enjoy it. I did. It's just the job outlook wasn't there for me. I should have looked further into that. Honestly, I ended up where I know I want to be, education. It was probably the road I should have went. So that takes me into this question. What is the number of times, I always ask students, what is the number of times you think a student changes their major in college? And typically they answer it correctly because they've heard the question before, and it's 3. A lot of students will, change their major 3, 4, 5 times. It just depends. But if you go to a community college, you can do those gen eds and you never really have to pick a major those first 2 years, especially if you want to transfer. You can do the Associate of Arts or Science degree, which is gen eds, and you can transfer out, never really have to pick that degree until, you get ready to transfer. Or you can go through one of our degree programs and transfer. We work closely with area state colleges and universities. We have agreements with public and private in Ohio and even some out of state. In Ohio, there's the transfer to degree guarantee. among state public colleges and universities. So that's always something to take advantage of. There's just a ton of options with starting at a community college. And honestly, we see more and more students choosing to do that. So now about Southern State. We have a 17-to-1 student-teacher ratio. We have approximately 25 to 2,700 students on the high end, but that includes students at our 3 campuses in Mount Orb, Ohio, Hillsborough, Ohio, and Washington Courthouse, Ohio. But it also includes students that are taking classes at a high school site. We offer a lot of College Credit Plus classes for students grades 7 through 12 that take courses at their site location. So you may be on a Southern State campus and the class sizes are small. It's easy to raise your hand and ask a question to a professor. The relationships are more one-on-one. And if that's what you're looking for, we may be the right fit for you. So definitely keep that in mind. We have free tutoring. We have free career and counseling services. So maybe you need help with the resume, you need help with math, science, or maybe you just need someone to talk to personally. It's all confidential. It's all free if you're a student with Southern State Community College. We have classes in the daytime, in the evening, and we even have some that are online. We even have some programs that are moving toward entirely online. So that's something to take advantage of. So I mentioned our campus locations. I just want to show everybody a picture. Brown County is in Mount Orb. That's our newest campus off 32. Fayette campus is in Washington Courthouse, and it kind of intersects Route 62 and 35. And then we have the Hillsborough campus, which is where my office is. It's the central campus. That's also where our auditorium and the Patriot Center, where hopefully at the end of your journey with Southern State, you'll graduate and walk across the stage in the Patriot Center. So one of the perks to our application process, it's free. It takes 15 to 20 minutes. It's a smooth application. I actually talked about it today to some students. It's a smooth process, 15 to 20 minutes. Send us your high school transcripts to the admissions office. We'll get you set up for a placement test that you see down there. If you have the ACT scores or SAT scores, maybe the placement test isn't necessary. But regardless, if you have to take the placement test, it's free. We're an open enrollment institution. We don't have really a deadline to apply. I will tell you, don't wait until the last minute. Fall semester starts in August. So if you're a senior and you're ready to jump into some classes, definitely you want to get the ball rolling now or at the beginning of the year. It's time to make those decisions. Tuition comparison. Our tuition is $4,826 a year. That does not include books and fees. With books and fees, we estimate roughly $2,000. And then your average 4-year public university in Ohio is roughly $10,822 a year. That doesn't include books, fees, or room and board. I like to tell students, Southern State, if you had to take out all student loans, you might be looking at $7,000 a year. For a 2-year degree, $14,000. Now let's go to your average university in Ohio. You're probably looking anywhere from $16,000 to $30,000. Ohio State's going to be closer to that $30,000 a year if you're getting room and board and you're paying the fees and everything. So it really just depends on where you go. But one of the perks to Southern State is you can knock off a lot of debt those first 2 years. Think about it. You do your first 2 years at Southern State for $14,000, whereas if you went to a college that costs $25,000 a year, $50,000 for 2 years, $14,000 for 2 years, you're saving a good amount of money, about $36,000, that you can save those first 2 years. And that adds up in the end, guys. Trust me, from someone that has loan debt, I'm 28 years old. 11 years ago, I was in your shoes making the decision about college. Trust me, if you can save money and you can get scholarships and grants to stay local and then transfer, or maybe you have them at a 4-year, you have a full ride, that's great. Take advantage of those opportunities wherever you go to college. So a little bit more about Southern State. Typically I'd have on the table, I'd have all of our programs laid out. The Associate of Arts and Science program, which I mentioned, Gen Eds, that's a transfer degree, we call it. Typically students that do this program, we don't offer your major, we don't offer your major, but we offer a concentration within these degrees. You can see them there on the screen. These are typically for students that want to transfer onto a 4-year. Then we have our Associate of Applied Business programs, which also can transfer onto a 4-year, in accounting, business management, and business management real estate broker. And then your Associate of Applied Science program, which this is where most of our programs fall under. We have a computer technology degree that's been revamped with 4 areas of concentration in networking, cybersecurity, programming, and robotics. We have an early childhood ed degree, which is, we have transfer agreements with some four-year institutions where you can finish on and get your bachelor's in early childhood ed and be a K-5 teacher. We have some engineering degrees in electromechanical engineering, engineering aviation maintenance. And if you jump down there to mechanical design technology, all engineering degrees all have transfer agreements available, good jobs, in-demand jobs. Human and social services, chemical dependency. Again, there's a need for that in our communities. These degrees can set you up for a four-year degree. You can transfer on, or you can get straight out into the workforce. Maybe work for your local job and family services or children's services, or with a drug and alcohol chemical dependency company. It really just depends on what you want to do. We offer law enforcement, but we also offer the basic peace officer training academy, which is what you would need to become a police officer. You can do both together, or you can do them separate. You can do one or the other. They don't have to be done at the same time or anything like that. Medical assisting and nursing. Nursing is probably our #1 program for interest. We have a lot of students interested in our nursing program. All of our health sciences are separate admission. So not only do you apply to Southern State, but then you have to meet the prerequisites to apply to the health science program and possibly take some sort of test like the HESI. And you would have to pay for that. So check out our website, sscc.edu. Look into those programs a little more if that interests you. We have certificates, which are 1 year or less in accounting. We have 2 in engineering and general and airframe and power plant. And then we have the health science. Again, these are separate admission, medical assistant tech, phlebotomy, and practical nursing. We have some less than 1 year certificates in Microsoft Office specialist and real estate. These are more your short term. Maybe you're in the workforce already and wanting to, better your skills a little bit with the Microsoft Office, or you want a supplemental income with the real estate. It really just depends, but we have students of all ages that are interested in these certificates. Maybe you do want that bachelor's degree, but you don't want to leave home. You don't want to leave the local area. Well, we have bachelor's programs that are on site. They may be online or they may be face-to-face, but they're on site at Southern State. We have them with Lindsey Wilson College, Miami University of Ohio, and Ohio Christian University. And you can see there's several options: business administration, Masters of Education in Counseling and Human Development, Master of Education, Teacher as a Leader, Electromechanical Engineering Technology, Business Management, Disaster Management, Ministry, and Leadership, Psychology. There's a ton of options there. You go to us for 2 years and then you transfer to this institution for your last 2 years. You do pay their tuition, so that's something to keep in mind, but you're not paying that room and board. So I mentioned transfer agreements. We have a lot of transfer agreements. We have over 40 transfer agreements with different colleges and institutions in Ohio, public and private. These continue to grow. Our faculty, our administration, we work on these daily, weekly, monthly. I mean, we try to grow these because honestly, it's become such a valuable part of your experience as a college student. Not every student can go off to a 4-year. Not every student, has the means to do that. So starting at a community college and having the option to transfer those last 2 years has really become a beneficial part of the process. You can see all the relationships we have there. UC, Miami University, Lindsey Wilson, Wright State, Wilmington. There's a ton more as well. And even if it's not there, even if we don't have a transfer agreement, our academic career advisors can look through some of the systems we have. They can look online, and we can help ensure that you're taking classes that are going to transfer to that 4-year you want to go to. Say you want to go to West Virginia University. Well, you would want to touch base with their college advisors and talk about that, and then let them know your plan. And then our advisors, if you let them know, they can help make sure you're taking classes that are going to transfer. And you can ensure yourself by reaching out to West Virginia and letting them know. So that's just one example. So transfer, it's an awesome option. There's a ton of agreements out there. Take a look on our website. Just type in transfer in the search bar. It will pull up all of those agreements in detail. Scholarship opportunities for seniors. If you are a high school senior graduating in 2021, as long as you have a 2.75 GPA and you go onto our website and print off the Superstart Scholarship and mail it in with a high school transcript, you are eligible for 6 free credit hours this summer. That's immediately following your graduation in May. So you would start in May. The only thing you would have to pay for are books and fees. There may be some financial aid available, so definitely reach out to our financial aid team. 6 free credit hours typically is equivalent to 2 classes. Even if you're not going to continue on with Southern State, this would be a great option for you as a student. Or maybe you're not sure about college. This is a good way to test the waters for almost nothing. CCP students, so those students that did College Credit Plus with Southern State, if you are a 2021 high school grad and you attended Southern State, print off that scholarship off our website, and you can send that in with your high school transcript. The deadline for that one is August 1. And we also have a scholarship portal that I suggest anybody that's thinking or considering Southern State, go into our website, go to the scholarships page, go into the portal, and complete everything it asks for. It's going to ask you for letters of recommendation, transcripts, maybe some kind of documentation that I'm not listing. But basically, if you complete that, then we're going to put you into a pool of scholarships that you're eligible for at our institution. It may be 1, it may be none, it may be 5. You just don't know. I mean, a lot of scholarships are need-based, so we're going to make sure that you need the money. If you're a full Pell Grant student and you're going to get your college mostly paid for, we're going to try to give those scholarships to students that need them, so they can get some money off of those loans and not have as much student loan debt. So there's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of scholarships out there. Whether you're coming to Southern State or not, take advantage of local scholarships, state scholarships. Your mom and dad, ask them if they have work scholarships available. Because free money is good money when you're talking about college. And I share this with everybody that comes up to my table. I just want to see students be able to make smart decisions about college, whether it's with Southern State or another institution. So that's my main goal. I flew through that this evening. I do this, I talk to people so much. I'm just so used to it. I go through my presentation pretty quick, but feel free to reach out to me with any questions. Again, my name is Jimmy Barnett. I'm the Director of Recruitment and Admissions. My number is there with my extension 2677. My email is jbarnett11@sscc.edu. Don't forget the 11, because if you don't put the 11 there, it's going to go to another J Barnett. And then my email is, and then you can visit our website at sscc.edu and check out our programs, request information about our programs via email. We'll definitely take care of you. I'm hopeful that I can see some of you on campus soon. But that is really all I have this evening. So if there aren't any questions, I'm going to turn it back over.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. Thank you, students and families, for joining us this evening. If you would mind, take the time this evening to fill out our quick 4-question survey once we end this session. We would really appreciate that. And then, as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, we encourage you all to sign up for additional sessions, and you can find the schedule at oacac.org. And if you would like to refer back to anything that Jimmy told you this evening, you can also find this recording at oacac.org as well. So again, thank you for joining us for the Virtual College Exploration Series. We sincerely appreciate it, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and we will see you all soon.